Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on the final day of the week, well, the working week. Anyway, we are at Friday. Football returns tonight, not for Arsenal, unfortunately. Well, I say football returns, football hasn't been away, as it we've still have plenty of football to watch in terms of the lower leagues and the African Cup of Nations, but Premier League clubs return to action tonight in the FA Cup. Across the weekend, no Arsenal though. We have to wait until Thursday because of that dreadful result and performance against Nottingham Forest in the third round. So no FA Cup for us to look forward to from now on, but we are back in action now, just 6 days away. And Arsenal are actually playing this weekend anyway, in a behind closed doors friendly against Reading, as I spoke about yesterday's video. And if I do get some information in terms of what happened, I will try and put it out there. So keep your eyes peeled. I think it's going to be, it might even be sort of split up into quarters. It's not going to be a full pace 45-minute each half way. It's kind of some of the similar formats to what Arsenal did in the summer when they played Watford behind closed doors and teams like that. So, but keep an eye out. I don't know if Arsenal are going to put anything out on their website. I don't know if they'll release any video or do a match report, anything like that. But we'll have to wait and see on it. But it is at Colney tomorrow, I believe, against Reading from the Championship. So maybe we'll get some details about what happened. Arsenal returned from Dubai yesterday. The day before yesterday in the evening. Have been back working at Colney ahead of that game against Reading, and then really sort of kicking on next week and building up to the game against Wolves on Thursday night, which I'll be at, and I'm looking forward to that one. Just wanted to really talk today's video really about start today's video anyway, looking at the sort of defensive overhaul and what happened in January with the players leaving, and sort of looking ahead to the summer and William Saliba's potential arrival. I think it's quite an interesting point from debate. I have written something on that subject today, which went out on Goal. I've put it out on my socials, so please do have a look after this video if you want to read that when I go into it in a little bit more depth. But I think it's really interesting Arteta, clearly when Arteta arrived, which is just over 2 years ago now, he looked at that defence and thought, we got to sort this all out. And you look at what's happened in that space of time. I think he signed 7 defenders in that time. I think he's only done 3 goalkeepers, 4 midfielders and no attackers yet. So he's clearly wanted to focus on the defence and sort that out. And there's been massive overhaul, huge shake-up, and was really sort of kicked on in this January as well with some of the deadwood. I don't like using that phrase, but deadwood in terms of Kolasinac, Chambers and Mari, they've gone out now. And you look at the team, the back four that he's amassed. You got Tomiyasu right back, signed in the summer. Ben White centre back, signed in the summer. Gabriel signed the season before that. Tierney's the only one who was at the club already when Mikel arrived, who is sort of still the guaranteed starter when it comes to the back four. But then you've got Tavares, the new backup option for Tierney as well. And then you look ahead to the summer, and I think this is going to be the key thing for William Saliba. And I get so many questions about Saliba. You guys do it in the comments section on Twitter, on Facebook. So many questions about what's going to happen with Saliba. Is he going to go? Is he going to get chance at Arsenal? And this summer, that pathway that wasn't really there for Saliba when he arrived. And I know he spent a lot of money on him and everyone wanted to see him play, but I've always thought you've got to remember with Saliba, and it is frustrating. Look, I want to see him play. I don't want to see Arsenal spend £27 million on this really impressive young defender, and then we never get to see him feature and never get to see him have an opportunity at Arsenal. I really want to see that because he looks a hell of a talent, but you've got to remember how young he is. And I think when you actually sort of take a step back of it and look at the development and the way Saliba has come on in France, I think that would never have happened in England. It just wouldn't. If he'd have been thrown into the team amidst all the drama of Arsenal and everything like that, and the pace of the adaptation that is needed in the Premier League, I think he just would have really, really struggled. And I think when you take a step back and look at the way Arsenal have handled him, I actually think it's not too bad. And you look at the season he's had with Marseille, how impressive he's been with Marseille this year. I think he's really, really kicked on. And again, I just don't think that would have happened if he'd have stayed at Arsenal in the Premier League. What I do think Arsenal now need to do, it is the time to reintegrate him. And I think the work that they've done moving Deadwood out has really created a pathway now for Saliba to come in and have a proper opportunity next season, because basically there's only Ben White and Gabriel in there now, and you need more than that. You need 3-4 centre-backs, and before Arsenal had 6, 7, 8. When you go back to David Luiz, Socrates, that sort of time, Holding, Chambers, Mustafi, Arsenal had so many centre-backs that they needed to sort out, and they've finally done that now, and it really looks like there is a clear pathway for Saliba to come in and be certainly the third choice centre-back. And I know a lot of people say, we want to see him play. You've got to remember, he's not even 21 yet. He's only 20. And hopefully, should Arsenal get into Europe next season, there's going to be a hell of a lot of games for Arsenal next year. And so Saliba will get plenty of action if he's in there. And then he can really compete with Gabriel and with Ben White. And I think one thing Arteta has shown is that if you're playing well and you get yourself into the team, you don't immediately get yourself taken out of the team. So if Saliba does get an opportunity in the Premier League next season, which he will at some point, if he plays well, there's no guarantee that will suddenly be taken back out the side again if one of the two that we see now as the established centre-backs gets injured. So I think it's a really big opportunity there for Saliba next season. And I think the work that Arsenal have done in getting rid of all the unwanted defenders that they've had over the last 2 years since Saliba's arrived at the club has now opened up this pathway for him. And in that meantime, he has been given really good opportunity to go out at a top league and play an awful lot of football and progress. And I just think if he'd have stayed at Arsenal, he wouldn't have progressed anywhere near to where he is now because he just wouldn't have featured. And I think, I can understand everyone wants to see Saliba play. Like I said, I really want to see Saliba play, but I do think everyone gets a little bit caught up in him and don't really think about just how young and inexperienced he is or has been during the last couple of years, and whether throwing him into the Premier League at Arsenal and the mess that Arsenal have been and the drama and the intensity, the scrutiny, I'm just not sure it would have been best for him. I mean, Saliba has been making mistakes in France. Everyone does, all centre-backs do. So he's going to, and he has been. He has made some mistakes. At the weekend, we saw him, Moussa Dembele score a brilliant last-minute winner for Lyon against Marseille, and he absolutely skinned Saliba for that goal. Had that happened in England, playing for Arsenal, he'd have got destroyed on social media and Twitter. And I'm sure he probably did in France as well, because Marseille is an intense club to play for. But I just think just keeping him out in the first couple of years, keeping him out of the limelight, has potentially done an awful lot more for his progress than it would have been keeping him here and not playing him. And whenever he does play, he comes on and then is immediately in the spotlight for any sort of mistake. I think one of the key things with Saliba, though, is also, this is going to be a really crucial summer for him now because he's got 2 years left of his contract. So it's about keeping him and getting him to sign a new contract. Understandably, with Saliba and his representatives, they're not sure where he really figures in Arteta's plans. Last season, they thought that he was going to come back in the summer and get given an opportunity. Arsenal had always said that was going to be the case, and it didn't happen. So ahead of this summer, they're understandably a little bit unsure in terms of exactly what Arsenal have planned for him, or more importantly, what Mikel Arteta has planned for him. And there are talks that are going to be planned at the end of the season with Arsenal's Saliba's representatives about that, because one thing Saliba doesn't want to do is come back to Arsenal and then just not play at all. I don't think that's going to happen. As I said, I think the pathway that's now been created for him is going to give him plenty of opportunities next season. But I think Arsenal, they know they're going to have to get him to sign up to a new contract, which isn't going to be easy given in the 3 years he's been at the club, he's never featured. So Arsenal need to prove to him that he is going to be a long time part of the plans. And so that's going to be really crucial this summer. I think he will be. All the word that I get is that Arsenal still absolutely consider him as the key part of their future and they want him involved. But it's just, there's one thing saying that, but then you need to actually convince a player and convince some representatives, especially when this is a player who has now been playing all the time in France, is getting rave reviews, is attracting interest from other clubs. So we've seen him linked this week with Real Madrid. And when that sort of thing keeps happening, Arsenal are going to have to convince him that he's not going to suddenly find himself behind Rob Holding in the pecking order, for example, if he comes back in the summer. And if you want him to sign a new contract, then you're certainly going to have to convince him of that. And given he's only got 2 years left, you do want him to sign a new contract because you don't want it to go into the final year and then suddenly, again, you're in a situation where a player you've bought a few years ago for 27 million is now worth very little because you've messed up his contract situation. So it's going to be a really, really crucial summer, this one, for William Saliba and Arsenal. It's going to be intriguing to see how it goes. Like I said, from my point of view, the word you get from Arsenal whenever you speak to him about Saliba is that, he is still a part of the plans. And so those talks in the summer, which are going to happen once the season comes to an end in terms of what they want from him and how they see the next sort of year going for him, are going to be absolutely crucial in convincing him to stay and, more importantly, convincing him potentially to sign a new contract, because you feel that's going to happen if he is going to have a long-term future at Arsenal. I don't see how you can let Saliba get down to a final year. It just doesn't really make any financial sense given you spent 27 million for him. I think you're going to want to, if he's not going to stay, and ultimately it's going to be down to Saliba, because if he doesn't want to sign a new contract, then he's going to go. And so that's what I'm talking about, why it's so important that you've got to convince him to stay. And if he's not going to stay, I just think you're going to end up going to have to sell him this summer, which would understandably be, everyone would be annoyed about it. I'd be annoyed about it, because you want to see him get a chance, because he's clearly a hell of a talented player. And I think that you look at Arsenal's defence as well, it's really, the work they've done, getting rid of all the dead wood, as I keep calling them, and refreshing it. Tomiyasu, 24, I think, maybe 23. Ben White, 24. Gabriel, 24. Tierney, 24. Ramsdale, 23. Tavares, 21. Saliba, 20. It's all about, in the summer they're going to want to bring in sort of back up to Tomiyasu, similar to Tavares with Tierney. And then you add Saliba into that, and Holding's not exactly old, and I think Holding still, I know a lot of people have a go at Holding, but I think Holding, if it be a fourth choice centre back, that'd be 4 very good options at centre back there with White, Gabriel, Saliba, and Holding. They've really worked. They've done a good job on reshaping that Arsenal defence, because when you arrived and you got Mustafi, Luiz, Socrates, all those sort of players. It's an absolute mess. There was so many centre backs at one time, so I think the defensive overhaul is one of the key things that Arsenal and Arteta have done in the last 2 years. And it just feels to me like Saliba now has got the chance to be the missing link in the summer, and it's going to be intriguing how that all plays out. I'm just going to bring this up here now before I move on to the next bit, because I wanted to see these quotes. I'm sure a lot of you have seen them, but Aubameyang had his unveiling at Barcelona yesterday. He was speaking about the move. He had this to say about Arsenal. He said they were complicated months, but I think that's how football is sometimes. For my part, I've never wanted to do something wrong, and now I think this is in the past, and I want to think about the present, and right now that is my answer. I think the problem was only with Arteta, and he made a decision. I can't say much. I wasn't happy, and that's it. It happened like that. I wasn't very happy, but I stayed calm, and that's it. Nothing groundbreaking there, is it? We know that there was a problem between Arteta and Aubameyang. That's clear. There's disciplinary breaches. He was punished for it, and it's not going to be happy. So, no, nothing groundbreaking. I know it's caused a bit of a stir again on social media, as always is the case. But I don't think any of us are too surprised by those comments, are they? We knew the pair of them had a problem, and then this one couldn't be resolved. And I think now's the time just to sort of put this one to bed now. Aubameyang, he's had his unveiling. Arsenal have announced it. He's got a great move to Barcelona. I really hope he does well there, because I like Aubameyang. But hopefully those comments now, yesterday in the press conference, that's it. Obviously, Mikel's going to be speaking on Tuesday. I think it's going to be, all that's not been confirmed yet, in his press conference ahead of the Wolves game. He's no doubt going to, he's going to have to answer questions about Aubameyang, because it'll be the first time he's spoken to the media since the move. But I think once that's done, and once he's given his side of the story, then, that's going to be it, really. I think it's time to kind of move on from that and focus on the remainder of the season and the players that are at the club, rather than the ones that have now gone. One player who is very much still at the club, Nicolas Pepe. I am looking forward, really, to seeing what happens with Pepe between now and the end of the season, because you think he is going to have a big role to play now. He's been kind of on the sidelines over the first half of the season, but I think Aubameyang's departure, you would think Pepe really should come to the fore here. And it's interesting, Ian Wright was talking. I saw some comments from Wrighty saying, maybe it's best to play Pepe at a false 9, or getting him through the middle, running at players. And he is an option, undoubtedly an option. I said it a couple of videos ago, I think he's probably the best finisher left at the club now, after Aubameyang's gone. And you really want him to, he's going to need to step up, I think. You want to see him really sort of make his mark when he gets an opportunity. I'm not sure he'll get an opportunity straight away, because I still think, the Wolves game, you look at it, it's going to be Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Lacazette. But Pepe will get his opportunities, and when he gets those opportunities, you really want him to sort of take it. And whether that is, should Arteta try playing him through the centre? Potentially. He's kind of never really done it before at time, only very rarely. And maybe that is an option to try with Pepe, because Arsenal are going to need goals between now and the end of the season. We know that, because they're not going to score too many, because they just don't have many goal scorers in the team. Pepe was top scorer last season. He's a good finisher. So if you can get him involved more, then I think you need to. And certainly the departure of Aubameyang, I think, opens a little bit of a door for Pepe. So, I'm looking forward to seeing how he can get on. He always tends to finish the season well. He has done each time that he's been at Arsenal. Last season he finished the season excellently. In his first full season, I thought he did as well in that run to the FA Cup final. And so hopefully he can do that again and become a big player between now and the end of the season. All right, that's about it from me. Thank you very much for watching today's video. Anything I've said that you agree with, disagree with, please let me know. Leave those comments below and I'll go through them to see what you guys have had to say. Obviously, the weekend starts tomorrow. If I do, like I said, get any details about the Reading game, then I will try and put a piece out, whether it's on here or on social media or on Goal. I'm not sure, but just keep your eyes peeled on all my various channels, and I'll try and, if I do get some details, keep you updated with exactly what went on in that game. If I don't, then have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy yourselves. By the time we come back on Monday, it will be all eyes on Molineux. Have a good day.